Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Moonlander keyboard, which is a split ergonomic ortholinear columnar keyboard from ZSA. For a long time I wanted their ErgoDox. In fact, when I really wanted their ErgoDox, I got this little like thing. My kids like to play with it. It's just like key switches clicking together. Little fidget toy. I got that, and then I ended up wanting the ErgoDox Easy, which is what this is kind of modeled after, that little thing. And then I saw they came out with the Moonlander, and I said, ooh, no, that's the one for me. Because I already knew I liked ergonomic keyboards. I've had Kinesis Freestyle Solos for a long time. Ultimately, I was unhappy with their performance. And while I know they have their, I think it's their Pro that is mechanical, I honestly, they just died so fast. I wasn't interested in that. So I got the Moonlander, which is expensive and a little weird, probably the weirdest keyboard I have worked with. So let's talk about it. Before we do that, though, let's talk about two ways to support the channel. Number one is to go to patreon.com/CurtisMcHale, become a patron, support the channel. You get free access to my courses, which you can take on Skillshare. So if you go to curtismchale.ca/Skillshare, that'll take you there. You can find on my page, you can find a course on tick, and you can find a course on time blocking. Buckle up, Moonlander. So the first thing you're going to need to do when you get a Moonlander is go to zsa.io/101. And that basically has all the information you need about your Moonlander. It's going to tell you how to program it. It has some great videos from a guy named Ben Valek, who's done some really good videos on the Moonlander on like why ortholinear or columnar keyboards are better, why split could be good, how to do the tenting on the keyboard because you can adjust the kind of how it pivots and how it supports your wrists. And it's got lots of typing practice, including one that's for programmers, which is really cool. That lets you actually learn to type like all the brackets. That's typing.io, which I used a bunch just to get an idea of what I need in my keyboard. I program a lot of PHP, so I use the PHP version there. What I'm going to need in my keyboard, what keys weren't right, because some of them just weren't right, and I'm Dvorak as well, so that's another little wrench in my system. And just what I needed to reprogram and redo. So now on to programming. After reading through the Getting Started page, they have a programming like web interface, which is really easy. You need to download Wally, which is their tool. And then you can just program on the web and you download a little file, drop it on Wally and reset your keyboard with a paperclip. And it takes a few seconds and your keyboard is reflashed with new firmware. What I often did then at the beginning was to be typing on one system, so on my Mac maybe, and then have my current layout up on my iPad so I could see like where was that key, because some keys are not labeled, and because I'm Dvorak, switching all the keys around would mean that I lose my J and F kind of home row tab keys, so I couldn't actually switch everything around. Currently I've switched a few things around, which you'll see as far as keys go, just so I can see where they are, but certainly not everything. Most keys are wrong. It's just some of the ones that I struggled with, like brackets. I moved those into the proper spot and have a random key that doesn't actually work in their new spot. If you're interested in my Dvorak profile, then you can find that linked below. Now, I gotta admit, I only use layers 1 and 2. The rest of it is just what came with the layout that I stole from someone else that looked pretty good. So I use layers 1 and 2, that's it. Typing experience. This is where the Moonlander threw me for a loop. I have switched keyboards many times. I learned Dvorak about eight years ago, just looking up my blog posts on that for someone else. And when I learned Dvorak, I was down to like 20 words a minute for a while. And I was actually there right at the beginning on this. Probably for the first day, it was just all struggle bus, all really hard. Now I'm back up to the 80, maybe 90 words a minute that I can usually type, so it's fine. Within honestly, by the end of the week, really, I was getting pretty close to that, and certainly fast enough for programming that I was not losing productivity with it. Now, one bug I do find is that because you need to program some special keys, because this is a very different layout, you really need to leave macOS or iPadOS in its default mode for QWERTY. Usually I've actually just done the software mapping in the operating systems to get my Dvorak layouts. Now this actually creates a problem on iOS because I can leave it in the default Canadian English automatic QWERTY mode, and that's fine for when I'm at my desk with my Moonlander, but when I am off with like the Apple Magic Keyboard or the Folio, I need it switched to software Dvorak. So that actually means when I switch between like my desk and remote with that device, I need to go into settings, general, keyboard, and then change the hardware keyboard setting for that keyboard to make sure that it matches up with what works well. Because it really just didn't work to have the Moonlander set as it is and switch it over to Dvorak, because there's enough custom keys I need to program that it just didn't work that way. That's one kind of issue that I deal with, being iPad OS mainly, having to switch back and forth depending on the keyboard. And in fact, if I pulled out my Keychron K2, I think, or my AnPro 2, or any of my other keyboards, I'd have to do the same software switch on Mac OS as well, because none of them, and the Keychron doesn't program. The AnPro 2 could program for Dvorak, so I could not worry about it in that instance. But it's just a kind of a limitation or something you have to deal with if you're going to go with the Moonlander. You're going to have to leave it in QWERTY mode, or in the software in QWERTY mode, and switch over to your special program system. As far as the key switches go, I went with the Kailh Gold switches because I'd never tried them and I don't love them. That's it. They feel too light to me. I get some random key presses just resting my fingers. They activate really high and then they click. And I don't love that. Now I have already on the way some silvers, some whites, some Kailh whites, which I have on my AnPro 2, and I love. They're super clicky and I love them there. This is a hot swap board. I can switch them all out, and we'll do that. I'll do a video eventually. You'll see me switch them all out and then hear the typing experience there. Right now, check it out. You can hear how the Kailh Gold switches sound on the Moonlander. I think the most striking thing about this keyboard is the columnar, the ortholinear design, and the thumb clusters. Specifically, maybe even the thumb clusters. They are the biggest new thing for most people. The biggest issue for my use is the thumb clusters. The big red buttons, I'll have mapped to anything because I don't even, well, actually that's not true. They're both escape because I didn't know where I wanted my escape key at first. I also have escape in the general caps lock area, which I've had for a long time on all my keyboards. But I don't know what to do with a lot of the keys. I have on the one side on my left, the closest one to me is space. That's usually where I hit space anyways. The next one down is enter. And then on the opposite side, the closest one on the left hand to my thumb is the backspace key. I don't even know what the other ones are because I never use them. In fact, it feels like quite a far reach to get all the way down to the lowest thumb cluster keys, the ones farthest away from your hand. So I'm not using those. I don't know what I'd use them for even at this point. But I like them. I like having space on that one side and having the overall like wrist position you get because of this keyboard, I like. Now the final question, should you be purchasing the Moonlander? There's a few things to look at here. Number one, if you want a mechanical ergonomic keyboard, Kinesis makes one. It is far cheaper. It's programmable, but not to the same extent as this. It's a good keyboard. I was generally happy with the Kinesis keyboards until they stopped working. I actually have a wired one still, and it just doesn't get key presses sometimes. So it's kind of useless in that respect. I had their Bluetooth one. It also just started dropping key presses sometimes. The only one that I know still works is the version 1, which I got in 2012, which I eventually upgraded to the version 2, and I shipped my version 1 off to a friend. He still uses it just fine, like all these years later. I, however, don't have anyone that works reliably anymore. And I wanted mechanical when I went to, again, ergonomic. I knew I really liked ergonomic because I'd used it for a long time. And up until I started trying out some of the more mechanical keyboards I had been using, ergonomic keyboards for a long time. There's also something like the Microsoft Sculpt, which again is ergonomic. It doesn't have kind of the layout options that either the Kinesis versions do, the Freestyles, or the Moonlander does, because you can't separate the halves. The halves are attached in that aspect, and that you just have to deal with what they have. Whereas both of the other ones have multiple tenting options, and then you can spread them as far apart as you want so they match the width of your shoulders, which I have really liked. Now, if you have serious wrist issues, then I think ergonomic is a really good way to go. As far as mechanical ergonomic with the Moonlander, it's a big jump. I would even suggest going with something like the Microsoft Sculpt, do you like ergonomic? Or going with something like the Kinesis Freestyle, starting there and saying, do I like this in general? And if you say, absolutely I do, and I want more choice in programmability, I want more choice in switches, I want all these other things, Moonlander is an excellent investment. So for me, I do not regret my decision. It was over $500, I think, Canadian. I do not regret my decision, but I knew I liked mechanical. I knew I liked ergonomic already. And I just wasn't sure about the switches. So I took a risk on the switches, and I think I spent $70 Canadian for a new set of switches, which is more switches than I need even. So once I have those in here, I expect that I'll have the customized keyboard that I really want, and then I can program all the other layers if I want. So if you're a gamer, I could program like layer 3 to specifically StarCraft 2. I don't play it enough to make that worthwhile, but I could be doing those things if I wanted. That's it. If you liked the video, you can give me a thumbs up below. And if you really loved it, you subscribe, hit the bell, and maybe YouTube will let you know that I have a new video coming out, but who knows. Otherwise, you can support the channel by going to curtismchale.ca/Skillshare, take one of my courses on my course on TickTick or my course on time blocking, or you can go to patreon.com/curtismchale and support the channel. Have a good day.